Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So we are continuing with the linear series Purple, which, as you know, I have said this multiple times, purple is my favorite color for my nails. I just absolutely adore purples. And I do have quite a bit of purple linear holo, so this will be a two-part video. Even at two parts, these are each going to be on the longer side because, again, I have a lot of linear purple holos. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking. I want you guys to enjoy those bottle shots. Let's catch that holo rainbow.
You interrupt me and I interrupt you. A shame. When did we start losing and stop giving? I remember I gave it time, all of my time. Now my mind's lost in its thoughts. I want you want only you. But my heart's all tied up in knots. Wanna release it. Wanna release it. Wanna release it. Wanna release it. Wanna release it.
So as always, I am going to be using the Holo Taco Peely Base Coat, which is my favorite peel off base coat today for all of my swatches. And we are going to be going from light to dark. So we're going to be starting off with Blush Lacquers, which is one of my favorite brands. I don't mention them enough, but they are really, really fantastic. I have a lot of great polishes from them. And this is a very light lavender. I feel like that's the best way to discover light lavender, lilac, whatever you want to call it, sort of linear hollow. So it's one of those ones that's more subtle. So if you're somebody who works in an office where you can't have super aggressive nail polish, this could be really good for you. Or if you just don't like super dark colors, this could be up your alley as well. I like this one for the subtlety. I don't always want super dark, so I always love to mix it up. So I just really like that even though this color is light, it still packs a really beautiful punch. Next up, we have Enchanted Polish Winter Dream. You will probably see them a couple times on this list, or at least in part 2 for sure. So this one is trying to describe, it's like a dusty purple, if you will. Like, you know how there's a dusty rose? This is kind of what it reminds me of. It's like a muted purple, or maybe like more of a, I don't think it's a cool turn purple. I think it's like a medium shade purple, but it is, I do think there might be a little bit of a shimmer in here. Sometimes it can be hard to tell with the lighting, so I don't know if there's a shimmer in there or not, but I do really like this shade of purple. I like that, you know, again, if you're not into super, super bright colors, this might be up your alley since it's not super dark. It's a little bit more on the subtle side in terms of purple, but still having that really, really beautiful linear hollow formula. Next up, we have Native War Paints. This one I think is just a mystery polish. I don't think that's the name of it. I think it's just a mystery polish. But it is sort of similarly shaded. I would say though that it is a little bit more on the sheer side, so it could be like a linear hollow and like a jelly base maybe. So it's a very, very subtle linear hollow, if that makes sense, because it's a little bit more on the sheer side, which I like. I like variety and I like mixing it up. I like having different types of purples, different types of linear hollows. There might be a shimmer in here. As per usual, it's hard for me to tell, but I think this is a really beautiful shade of purple. Next up we have ILNP, which stands for I Love Nail Polish. If you're not familiar with this brand, you will see them a lot in part 1 and part 2. So the first one is Charming Purple. This is a similar shade to the Native War Paints mystery one, and I'd say it's almost a similar formula. It feels like it's in a sort of jelly base, or if not in a jelly base, it's just a little bit more on the sheer side, which I don't mind. Now, I will say that if you're somebody who's like me and you're gonna do like thin coats, you might wanna do like 3 coats for full opacity. Or if you like that sheerness, then you can do like 2 coats and that's fine. Or you could do thicker coats as well. But I always like to do thinner coats because it's a lot easier to control the nail polish so it doesn't like get in your cuticles and everything. And you can kind of build it up based on your own personal preferences. But I love this shade of purple. It's very similar to blush. It's a little bit darker than that, but it's kind of like a medium lilac, if you will, a nice spring sort of purple, which I love. It always kind of brings a brightness when I look at this color. Could not get through any linear purples without Holo Taco. So starting off, we have Lavender Syrup, which is one of my favorites from Holo Taco. This is from their, I believe this is from the Pastel Rainbow collection, I'm pretty sure. So this is a light linear holo, just in terms of like the color. It's a very, very light purple, which don't sleep on the Pastel Holo collection. That's a gorgeous collection, which was definitely like a spring, I think it was spring or summertime that collection was released. But I really liked the take on it of having like really lighter colored linear holos, because a lot of times when you think about like linear holos and somebody releases a rainbow collection, you think of like the traditional rainbow, which is more of like bright, almost bordering on neon colors, whereas these are definitely pastels. So I love Lavender Syrup. And I told you guys ILNP would be making several appearances on this list, so they're back again. This one with Sidekick. So now we're getting into a little bit more of sort of medium, deep in between those two categories in terms of purples. This one again is still a very kind of light-handed formula. I don't know how to explain it. Like the linear is in there, but it's like when you apply it first, it's very sheer. So you do have to apply, you know, once you get that second coat on there, it's a lot more opaque. And if you want to, you can definitely do a third one, but I think it's pretty fully opaque in 2 coats as well. I like this formula. I don't know if everybody would though, you know what I mean? I think a lot of people are used to the formula from like Holo Taco or Enchanted, which is just like packed linear holos from the get-go. Whereas this it's linear holo, but it's just like a little bit of a sheer formula. I don't know if I'm explaining it well. Hopefully it makes sense. moving right along to Pop Polish with A Whole New World, which I am pretty sure this is from Aladdin. It has to be, it can't not be, right? But I do love this polish. I love just like, if you're not familiar with Pop Polish, if you look at the bottle shots, I love their bottles. It's like it's a circle, but it's kind of, it's not like a circle in terms of like circumference. It's like a two-dimensional circle, if you will. So it's like I don't know. I just really love their bottles. I always store them to the side as opposed to like full on, so that I can put more of them on a shelf. And they have like nice long caps and nice long less long brushes. So I love Pop Polish because it can be hard to have original bottles and brushes in the nail polish industry, where a lot of people's bottles looks the same, but there are a lot of people who have very unique bottles, and Pop Polish is one of them. Okay, getting into the nail polish, I spend so much time talking about the bottles. This is a really like a nice, beautiful, medium kind of purple as well. Like I said, it's very much in the spring purples. If I had to like describe it as like a color in 2 words, I'd say it was a very spring type of purple color, which I love. And I just love linear holo. So there's nothing else to say. It's just a gorgeous polish. And now we have Damn Polish, Positively Purple. So I'd say this one, well, first off, I gotta give a shout out to Damn Polish with their super wide brushes. I'm a fan of both. I wouldn't say that I prefer wide brushes over skinny brushes. I feel like it really depends on the polish and like what exactly, what type of polish it is. So if some people have a preference. I don't really care one way or the other. I like both of them. There's also such a thing as a brush being too wide or too deep. So I really like Damn Polish's brushes. But no, I love this shade. It's a really nice, beautiful shade of purple. And of course, you just have that beautiful linear holo. I hope you guys can see that linear flame going on too. Next entry on the list is Color Club. It's a mystery. That's actually the name though, it's not a mystery polish. So I do think we're getting sort of into like the more medium deep categories in terms of colors. So this is a deeper linear holo, a little deeper than the ones we've done before, but it's not like full on dark linear holo. But I do love this formula. I think it's really nice and smooth. I really love Color Club too. They're very much like Orly in terms of price. So if you're someone who can't always afford like Holo Taco, a good place to go as an alternative is definitely Color Club. They're a little bit on the less expensive side. They're kind of like at the beginning of that spectrum in terms of like price points, I'd say like nail polish once you get out of the drugstore is like $10 to $30 a bottle, and Color Club is at the beginning of that spectrum. So I'm just saying it's a really great place to get, you know, a similar bang for your buck. Is it going to be the same as Holo Taco or like Enchanted or as any of the major brands, major indie brands? No, it won't be. But it's not, that doesn't mean that it's bad either. But no, I really love this. It's a really gorgeous linear holo shade. They have a lot of great linear holos too, so you guys should check out Color Club. So next we have Mooncat Shattered Glass. I must say I love Mooncat. They were originally Live Love Polish, which I still have quite a few polishes from Live Love Polish. And then they rebranded as Mooncat, and I love the rebrand because the bottles they're a little bit bigger, they're designed differently, and I think it's really nice as well. And they have some really fantastic brushes. But this is Shattered Glass, which I'd say is kind of like, again, in those springy purples in terms of like, you know, when you look at it, I associate it more of a springtime purple because it is a very light shade of purple, but it is very, very gorgeous. And the formula is so smooth. And like I said, they have that really nice brush as well that just makes this polish just glide on. So next up we have Ice Cream Nails Next Level. First of all, I dig this shade so much. It's so unique in terms of its color. It's also kind of difficult to describe. I feel like some people might look at this and think, oh, this is pink. And other people might be like, oh, this is purple. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's a purple with some pink undertones, which is why at first glance it might lean pink to some people and purple to others. In my mind, it does lean a bit more purple. Once I put on a second coat, it looks more purple to me, but I can see the pink undertones, which I like. I vibe with this polish so hard because I like pink and purple. So it's like my favorite two things plus linear holo. Like, you cannot go wrong. This color is gorgeous. I love it. got our second entry from Pop Polish with Heliotrope, which is definitely now starting to get into the darker purples, maybe like the deep end of the spectrum. This is kind of like, it's like a winey, Merlot-y kind of purple. That's what I think of like initially when I first apply that first coat, is it kind of reminds me of Merlot, if you will, or maybe not maybe not Merlot, actually more of like a rosé. Yeah, it reminds me more of rosé, but it definitely gets deeper once you apply that second coat to it as well. And I just think this is an absolutely gorgeous color. I do think it's very similar to Next Level in the sense that it could be purple to some people and pink to others, because I think it has notes of both. But again, I don't mind that. Next up, we have A. England Virginia Woolf. This is my first time ever swatching this brand on my channel, and that's because they're pretty difficult to get a hold of in the States. They have a website, but as far as I can recall at last glance, they don't sell in the US. So like, you have to buy their polishes through another, like a third-party vendor, if you will, and most third-party vendors are not going to sell like their whole collection. So that bums me out, because I have maybe like 5 or 6 polishes from them and they're all absolutely gorgeous. So like, I want more, but I can't really readily buy them. So maybe I'll just make a trip to England to do that. But this is like a deep plum color, and we're getting into the deep purples, which is probably my favorite spectrum of purple, because the darker the purple, like the better the holo shows through. And this is just a really beautiful shade. Like I said, it's like a deep plum. It's a really nice, deep color. And I think it just looks so beautiful and so gorgeous. And it's still not super dark too. So like, I feel like this would still be appropriate for work, depending on where you work. I don't know. But yeah, this could be something fun to do with nail art as well. Some fall witchy vibes, since we're in fall now. Digging this color. So next up, we have Wildflower Lacquer Wild Hibiscus. I love this polish so much. I'm pretty sure it was like part of Polish Pickup or Hella Handmade Creations. I don't think this is part of their normal collections, at least not from my recollection. This is a smaller indie brand. You guys should check them out though. They have some really great polishes. And this is like it's like a pink purple. There may be a little bit of a shimmer in there. You know me, I can't tell. But it is definitely so gorgeous. I think it might lean a little bit more pink, but I didn't care, so I wanted to include it because I liked it so much. And I'm like, I think it can pass for purple. So it's just such a beautiful color. And then just the linear holo just like sends it to the stratosphere for me. So I absolutely adore this color. coming in with another entry from ILNP. This is Black Orchid. And this one is, it's such a fun color. I feel like this is definitely like Merlot. I know I say that a lot, but it's a great way to describe a color. But like if Merlot was a color, I do feel like it would be this. This definitely looks like Merlot wine to me. It's just like a very deep, plummy red sort of purple where it can be, maybe it's red to some people, maybe it's purple to some people, maybe it's even pink. It's somewhere between all of those. Like then the Venn diagram of those colors, Black Orchid's like in the middle of that. So I think this is a different kind of linear hollow formula. You know, some people have very, very packed linear hollow, but I think other brands do almost like a light linear hollow, like a little, not nearly as packed, but it's still linear hollow. I don't know, it's hard to describe, but I like both formulas. I don't mind either one. I just dig this color because you guys know I'm into the fall, dark, deep, witchy colors. So this is going to be our last color for the part 1 linear hollow purples, and this is another ILNP entry, Kings and Queens. Love that name, by the way. Reminds me of House of the Dragon. I don't know about anybody else, but I am digging House of the Dragon. But no, this is a really beautiful color. It's purple. I don't know about anybody else, but does anybody else like filming just like run out of descriptive ways to describe a color or polish when you're doing like a series like this? But no, I think it's a really beautiful color. I like the formula as well. I know this was a longer video, so I appreciate any of you guys who stayed in there the whole time. So what did you think of this? Do you guys have any of your favorites? Do you have any of these polishes yourselves, or do you have any linear purples that you love that aren't in here? Just let me know in the comments below. Also, be sure to keep a watch out for part 2, which I've already made, so that one's going to come out right after this one as well. If you like that video, give it a like, and if you're interested in seeing more kinds of content from me, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. I do throw up all full swatches of everything I swatch in here on my IG as well, so check out my IG. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you later. Bye.